Na 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 na.
Coming to you live from downtown Phoenix at the beautiful Arizona State campus, this is the Harris Highlight Show, episode 9. Now, I know how we normally start off the show with going over the latest power rankings, or the playoff rankings, so you call it, but we're filming on a Sunday evening this week because it is Thanksgiving and we're all going home for the holidays to see the folks and the families and whatnot, so unfortunately, the playoff rankings have not come out by the time we're doing this, so we're going to be doing what we can. But guys, before we get into anything, there was an upset yesterday in college football. A great upset. The Alabama Crimson Tide upset the Chattanooga Mocs yesterday, so I do want to talk about that.
Congratulations to Alabama.
Congratulations to Alabama on a hard-fought victory. Still trying to figure out how they won, but what a game.
They scored more points.
They did score more points than the Chattanooga Mocs.
It's a very hard-fought game.
I do have to say, in all the games I've watched in my life, I don't think I've ever been that passionate for a team ever.
I think you're right.
Fight like this one.
Gentlemen, let's go! Tonight, sleep on Chattanooga! Let's go!
I will say this, though, about the game. That was the second least amount of points Bama scored all season. And if you asked anybody who knew college football at the beginning of the year, who will keep Alabama to the second least amount of points they've scored all season, nobody would have said Chattanooga, besides us probably. So that was pretty impressive, in my opinion.
So the final score was 31-3, but I feel like that score does not do their defense justice.
Also the least amount of yards Alabama has had all year, too.
Yeah.
Played
This
phenomenal
defense,
the first
for those
half.
that watched the game, it was 14-3 at the half, correct?
Yeah.
Should have been 7.
It should have been
should
7-3.
have been
We'll talk more about that, but
Yeah.
this defense came ready to play. I think aside from that 50-yard just no coverage touchdown in the first quarter or the second quarter, I don't think Alabama had any really huge plays. Like that, I mean, that defense, there were some hits also that Jalen Hurts took. My goodness, this did not look like an FCS school. So this defense came ready to play. The offense, though, is another question. Now, there were some plays where they looked good, like that opening drive, but some of their third down calls were very questionable.
I think it's the best part that Chattanooga had the lead. And they held the lead in the first quarter.
Mine's not loading.
We're winning!
Chattanooga!
The best part was after they got that field goal. And by the way, I think I was telling this to Lyle. Since there was that overlap of the Texas-Kansas game, there's no official film of the kick. Like if you go to YouTube and type in Alabama Chattanooga full game, the game picks up from 6 minutes left in the first quarter because that's when the record happened. And if you go to ESPN.com, there's no videos from whatever happened in that play. So there's no actual footage of their field goal kicker hitting that 48-yard field goal.
Wait,
Except for
really?
my Snapchat.
So I'm kind of bummed about that, but it was great. I was also talking this about Lyle. When that kicker came out and they showed him for the first time, we're going, oh no, this is Penn State kicker 2.0.
Gotta admit, we judged him.
We were judging him, but he nailed
Proved us
that.
wrong.
He got it! Yes!
Really quickly, though, I do have the stats for the entire game. Alabama was held to 14 first downs.
That's
Chattanooga had 10.
Wow.
Third down efficiency. Alabama was 4 for 13. Unfortunately, Chattanooga was 2 for 13. Total yards, as Brady mentioned, I think this is the least amount of yards they've had in a game all year. 332.
Total.
Jalen Hurts threw for 136 passing yards. 136. And it's not like he came out after the first quarter because it was a blowout. He played the entire game. And he only had 136. Now, rushing yards, 200. Penalties is another great thing. Chattanooga only had 2 penalties. Playing against a team like Alabama and only having 2 penalties, my goodness. And another thing, too, the fact that they only lost by 28 when they had their backup quarterback playing probably about half the game because their starter came out. What are you thinking if you're on the bench? You're the backup quarterback to an FCS school, and the coach says, hey, bud, You want to go on in right now and play Alabama? Like, what are you thinking?
Put me
like,
in, coach.
Like, I'm not going to give him any disregard there, but Chattanooga, they played a hell of a game. But now, really quickly, not that we're biased or anything, that we're going to give Alabama the discredit for the win. There were some very questionable calls in this game. Now, I'm sure there was a good amount of people that watched the game that can back us up on this. The first one I want to mention, and this is the one that really upset especially Lyle and I, because I think this kind of impacted the game, was the muffed punt in the first quarter when Chattanooga was up 3-0 after they forced their second 3-and-out for Alabama. The Alabama player pushes the Chattanooga player right into the receiver, and he muffs it. No call. Now, I think Brady said that that's not a reviewable play, so there's nothing you can do about it. But
it's only reviewable the other way around. So if they call it on the field, they can review it and undo it. They can't call a non-call and then call a penalty on that.
Yeah, and they were showing the replay over and over, and it was obvious that the Alabama guy pushed him in, and that led to the touchdown. But I will give Chattanooga credit because on that drive, they forced Alabama to a 4th and goal on the 5, and then no one covered the tight end, and Alabama scored. And then the next drive, Chattanooga, they were rushing the field. Or no, Alabama had the ball, and they fumbled it.
Oh.
And Chattanooga, you watched
right there.
You watched the replay, and
they had the ball for
a Chattanooga guy dove on the ball, and somehow when the refs pulled everyone off the pile, the Alabama guy had the ball. So I don't know if somewhere underneath that pile the Alabama guy stole it, but when that pile began, the Chattanooga guy was on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's really a missed call or what, but
that's whoever comes up with the ball at the end of the pile gets a possession.
I was the same way with Lyle as soon as it happened. I'm like, Chattanooga has the football now, but as time passed, it seemed not to be.
That's the thing. They were driving. I honestly think they could have scored on that play. But then again, there were some plays like where Chattanooga ran the ball. Right when they ran out of bounds, a late hit came. There was about 2 or 3 I saw. None of them were called.
You know what? It's Alabama. They get whatever calls they want. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is...
To an extent, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And that's...
Especially when they're playing an FCS team in Chattanooga.
Exactly.
But but Chattanooga, though, once again, hats off. Time of possession, 34-25 in Chattanooga's favor. Only 2 turnovers to Alabama's 1. Just everything there. Like, if you were to compare these two... Like, if I were to say at the beginning of the season, all right, this was a game between one of their teams this year, who do you think this was? You could say this is probably one of the SEC teams that put up these kind of numbers against them, not an FCS school.
Mind you, at the beginning of the game, let's not forget the spread.
The spread was 48.5. The disrespect. Like, I remember earlier...
I said it last week. That was disrespectful.
48.5. Like, I would have put a lot of money on that one. Just to have a team expected to win by 49 points... regardless of who you're playing. Even if Alabama played ASU. Well, actually, in that case, I would take the spread. But
it's getting to the point where I think Chattanooga could beat ASU and not struggle. Like, it'd be a blowout.
like, it was... But like I said, I think the highlight, though, of the entire game was Chattanooga taking the lead.
Yeah.
And
That's so great.
It was fun.
Us just going crazy. Whatnot. Our Twitters were blowing. I don't know about you guys, but my Twitter was absolutely blowing up. Everyone was tweeting like, "Oh my goodness, no way, no way." And I know you guys all said the same thing, but I 100% meant this. I truly believed after the first quarter, Chattanooga could win the game.
I was
starting to have faith.
Like,
not that I haven't had faith like all season, but after the 3-0 after the first quarter, Chattanooga was in it for most of the game.
That's what I'm saying. Chattanooga put up a good fight against the number 1 team in the country.
Well, see, after the first quarter, I'm sitting there thinking, like, even the day before, whenever we recorded the podcast, we're all standing, like, when Blake was giving his heroic speech, like it was from Braveheart or something like that, he's giving us this Braveheart speech, and we're all standing up, clapping with our arms in the air, like, high-fiving and stuff, and then... After, kind of, whatever, like, doesn't matter. But then game day comes around, and I'm kind of sitting there, and I'm sitting in the hot tub with Spencer. And Spencer and I are chilling, and I kind of say, you know, what do you think the chances are that this happens? And Spencer says, honestly, I'm not too sure. Like, it's always a possibility, but against Bama, and once the game started... Chattanooga was moving the ball so well on their first 2 drives, and I remember thinking they could do this.
Their opening drive, what I forgot about as well. Their opening drive, I think they had the ball. It was like 3rd and 5, They got a first down, and they pushed it to like the 15-yard line, but then there was that penalty
Yeah, it was a callback.
It was a 15-yard penalty that really screwed them over, and it was like 3rd and long or something, and that's what led to the 48-yard field goal. Chattanooga, the way that drive was going, I think they could have scored, and oh man, they would have scored a touchdown. Like the way we acted
I think we would have died.
the way we acted over a field goal, my goodness.
I probably would have jumped in the pool,
But
honestly.
watching
Pool is
that,
so cold.
watching that game yesterday was truly exciting. It was just something about it. It was just like the long-awaited game, and the fact that there were so many people like all over Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat that were just like getting as excited as we were. And like I got about 10 or 15 photos of people watching the game. There were some good ones. So I'll just put that throughout the entire thing. There was this one of this guy where he was like holding a box of Cheez-Its in front of the TV. And he's like, "This is all I need in life." But and there were some great tweets too. Like this one guy. This one guy was like, "Hooters is sleeping on Chattanooga." There was a guy that was actually at the game.
No way.
And he was like, "I'm sleeping on Chattanooga, go Bama, roll Tide." But I was like, "Oh my God, that's great." But lots of great tweets, lots of great photos.
How about that Nick Saban interview? I'm pretty sure he was sleeping on
Oh,
Chattanooga.
Nick Saban was definitely sleeping on Chattanooga as well. But also, I love the Chattanooga coach's interview when he came out of the tunnel.
That was great.
What was your message in there?
Well, I asked them to compete in the first half. I said compete, fight them every snap, and I told them they did that in the first half. And I just asked them, I said, do it for another 30 minutes. Just fight, just keep competing. Something positive will happen. We're getting first downs on offense, and we're playing really well on defense.
You played here last 3 years ago, shut out 49-0. What's so different about this year?
Well, I don't know. I think we got a good team. You know, they probably came in sleepwalking a little bit. I don't know, but our kids are playing hard and they're excited. I mean, coming out of that locker room, man, I couldn't keep them in there. They were so excited to come back out. Now, I hope we play good in the second half, but awful proud of our football team.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
He didn't care that they were losing.
He was having fun.
He was enjoying it, and that's all that mattered.
And speaking of great tweets, my own parents watched the game after watching our podcast and seeing how excited we got. They said, watching Bama Chattanooga game, go Mocs. I mean, thanks, Mom and Dad.
Oh yeah, we need to get a video of us doing our "Don't Sleep on Chattanooga" little sign, and you gotta put that in.
But continue, Brady.
No, go ahead, Blake.
Oh, what I was gonna say, I'm glad this movement started. It was a great, fun movement. But guys, really quickly, just very quickly, I want you guys to get your phones out, go to your calendar app, and go to September 9th. And mark that on your calendars.
In the past or in the future?
In the future.
2017?
In 2017.
2028.
Because on September 9th of 2017, the Chattanooga Mocs will be heading to Death Valley to take on the LSU Tigers.
Don't sleep on Chattanooga.
I know the game is 10 months away, but I can already assure you guys that the Chattanooga Mocs, they're gonna be practicing this whole off season. It's the second week of the season, so they're gonna be coming strong.
Who do they play week 1?
Week 1, Chattanooga?
Yeah.
Their schedule's not even out yet. I just looked at the LSU schedule. But guys, September 9th.
Mock the world, baby.
Mock the world. Also, yeah, that mock the world. One of my followers tweeted that to me. Great
That's
hashtag.
the new thing, by the way.
Mock the world.
Hashtag mock the world with no K and hashtag don't sleep.
But oh yes, so ladies and gentlemen, September 9th, Chattanooga, LSU, Death Valley round 2. This year it happens. All right. But as I mentioned, though, we're filming this Sunday evening, and so the playoff rankings have not come out yet. So unfortunately, we can't really criticize or talk about those.
We can't criticize.
Which we will. But what we are going to do is, and this is going to be quite fun, Josh actually was the one that wanted to do this, we're going to give our own top 25 rankings, and then once we get to like the top 6 or 7, which, I mean, we can assume what they're going to be, then we can really discuss about what they're going to be. So guys, I hope you guys had as much fun as I did making these. Which what we're going to do. Brady's like, oh, we had a job. All right.
Too busy working. I'm doing homework.
No worries.
That's such a lie. Okay, so at 25 I have Washington State. At 24 I have Boise State. At 23 I have Texas A&M. At 22 I have Stanford. At 21 I have LSU. Am I doing 22?
You're doing up to 20.
Okay, and at 20 I have Florida.
All right.
So I have Stanford at 25, Wazoo at 24, LSU at 23, Tennessee at 22, Houston at 21, and A&M at 20.
Utah at 25, they lost to Oregon. Yeah, the loss to Oregon really was the killer. LSU at 24, I'm going to say Washington State at 23. Tennessee at 22, they had a pretty solid win this past week. Demolished Missouri. Texas A&M at 21, and I'd say probably Boise State around 20.
So for my number 25 team, I'm going to have Tennessee. I'm going to have LSU. The loss to Florida at the goal line, killer for them. Washington State, they couged it up. Texas A&M, Utah, and then Boise State.
Wait, you had LSU dropping out or at 24?
They're at 24.
Oh, I thought you said they're out.
No.
Apologize.
It's all good, homie.
You guys are going to go insane on mine right here, but hey, I had fun with it, and it's my top 25, so here we go. At 25, I got Toledo.
You're off the show.
Ah, dang it. At 24, I got South Florida. At 23, I have Navy. At 22, I have Wyoming. At 21, I have West Virginia. And at number 20, I have Stanford. So now, guys, let's hear 19 to 10. Whoever wants to go first may.
I'm going to jump in here since I went first last time. So at 19, I have Tennessee. At 18, I have West Virginia after the loss that they took. At 17, wanted to put them higher, but I didn't. I put Western Michigan.
Oh, you.
At 16, I have Nebraska. At 15, I have Utah. 14, I have Florida State. At 13, I have Auburn. At 12, I have OK State. At 11, I have Colorado. And at 10, I have Southern California.
All right, Lyle.
Man, we have some similar picks, I just realized. So I have Utah at 19, West Virginia at 18, Western Michigan at 17, Florida State at 16, Auburn at 15, Colorado at 14, Nebraska at 13, Florida at 12, Penn State at 11, and USC at 10.
I just heard Colorado. Wait, no, I cut you off.
No, you're good.
Did I hear Colorado at 14 even though they won?
Yeah, they don't have an impressive schedule at all. And with the 2 losses, I'm not going to give them credit. And USC at 10, yeah, they have 3 losses, but I hate to admit it, but Josh is absolutely right. They're one of the best 5 or 6 teams in the country right now.
They're the second hottest team in the country right now, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'd say they are,
and
too.
so despite those early losses,
Behind Chattanooga?
Yep.
Despite those early losses, I'm going to give them credit where credit's deserved, and they've earned it.
Hang on, I'm gonna follow up with Lyle really quickly. And wait, where did you have Colorado at 15 or 14? You had them at 14. And here's my thing: is I really wanted to put them lower, but I was basing mine off of last week's rankings. So I wouldn't have Colorado. I would have Colorado, to be honest, around 15 or 16. But I didn't want to drop them too much, even though they won. So I could totally agree with what Lyle said.
Spencer?
Yeah, so I'm going to start off at 19 with West Virginia. The loss they took against Oklahoma absolutely killed them. Next, I'm going to take Houston. They jumped up with beating Louisville. Next, Nebraska. Western Michigan at 16. And then I'm going to take Auburn, Florida State, Florida beating LSU, winning the SEC East. Helps them a lot. USC at 12, Colorado at 11, and then Penn State at 10.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have West Virginia at 19, Houston at 18, so sort of similar top 3 to Spencer, and Nebraska at 17. I'm going to go Florida State at 16, Auburn at 15, Florida at 13. 14, Western Michigan at 13. They need to get a big jump.
I love it.
Louisville at, I'm going to say 12. Oklahoma State will go to 11. Fight on. USC at 10.
All right. I love it. All right. Number 19, I got Tennessee. Then I got Boise State. Then I got Florida State. I got Louisville. Then I got Houston at 15. I feel like Houston, after that win, should be ranked higher than Louisville, without a doubt. If you're going to say Clemson should be above Louisville, then why can't you say Houston can't be above Louisville? 14, Nebraska. 13, I got to row the boat with Western Michigan.
14.
13.
Oh, well,
13.
okay.
12, Oklahoma State. 11, Colorado. And at 10, I got Florida. And now we'll get into the fun part of the show.
So at 9, I have Penn State. At 8, I have Oklahoma. And then at 7, I still have Louisville because I think they are still one of the best teams in the country.
Okay, so I have Louisville at 9. This might surprise some people, but I have Oklahoma State at 8. And only because if you take away that Central Michigan game in which the refs kind of blew the game for them, then all of a sudden they're a one-loss team that's fighting for a playoff spot. So they're still pretty high in my regards. And then I have Oklahoma at 7.
So for me, I'm going to have Oklahoma at 9, actually. I'm going to have Wisconsin at 8, and then Louisville at 7.
My number 9 is going to be Colorado. 8 is going to be Penn State, and 7 is going to be Oklahoma.
All right. My number 9 is going to be Penn State. My number 8 is going to be Washington. And my number 7 is going to be Oklahoma. Wow. You look like you're going to kill me.
So you're going to have Washington drop that many spots after winning a game?
I am. But then again, this is my own top 25, so I go
It
based off.
also is your own show.
This is like
They
that's
should be 9, but I'm just not going to have them
That's
drop
the
that
thing.
much.
Like, I get the whole where you shouldn't fall if you win. If you lose, you should fall this much. That's not what I care about. What I care about is ranking the top 25 best teams in the country. That's why I have Louisville at 16. I think all you guys have them in the top 10. They got embarrassed by Houston. Absolutely embarrassed. So, do I think Louisville is one of the 7 or 8 best teams in the country? Absolutely not. And that's why when we get to the top 6, it'll be even more fun. Josh, let's hear your top 6.
Okay, so my top 6, I agree with you. I don't think Washington is one of the top 5, even top 6 teams in the country. But based off of last week's rankings, I'm not going to have them fall that much, and I'm going to keep them at 6. At 5, I have Wisconsin. They are the most underrated team in the top 10, I think, even though I'm putting them at 5. At 4, I have Clemson. At 3, I want to say I have a very injury-prone Michigan team and a very inconsistent, which is why I think they're going to lose to Ohio State, who I have at 2. And at 1, I have Chattanooga.
Good call.
I read that wrong. It says Alabama, but just barely.
Is what Josh just
So I have Wisconsin at 6, UW at 5. Despite their, falling apart in the second half against USC, I still think they're a very good team. Then I have Michigan at 4, Clemson at 3. I like Clemson over Michigan, especially with Wilton Spate now being hurt. Clemson having a pretty high-powered offense with Wayne Gallman really picking it up now. And then I've got Ohio State at 2 and Bama at 1.
I'm going to say I have Washington at 6. I'm going to keep them there. I think the win over ASU wasn't as demanding as everyone thought it would be, so that's why I have them still there. I have Wisconsin at 5. They are the quiet killers of this college football playoff. I mean, you haven't heard anything from them, and they're sitting in the top 10 already, and have them for the last couple of weeks. Clemson at 4, Michigan at 3, Ohio State at Dose, and Alabama at 1.
So my list is a doozy, all right? So for my number 6 spot, I'm going to have Washington. For my number 5 spot, I'm going to have Chattanooga.
And why is that,
And
Spencer?
no, I'm not kidding. Because when I made the list, I put Clemson twice. And turns out you usually don't do that, and thus led to a problem.
He's just too lazy to figure out.
I just noticed the problem
the
now,
team is.
and it's a problem, and it's really complicated. So my number 4 spot is now Michigan. At number 3, I'm going to have Clemson, 2 at Ohio State, and then 1 Roll Tide Bama. So Chattanooga playoffs?
I wish. All right.
They'll make the FCS playoffs, that's for sure.
All right, so for my number 6 team, I'm going to go with Clemson. At number 5, I'm going to go with Wisconsin. I like what Brady said, how they're like going under the radar. No one's really giving them any love, when in reality, they have a really good chance to make the top 4.
No, honestly, look at my rankings.
Because they're going to be in the
I
Big
had them at 8, and they might
If they
even
win
make
that Big Ten
playoffs.
title game, there's no reason Wisconsin should not be in. At number 4, I have USC. And I'm going to tell you guys why when I'm done with my top 4. 3, I got Michigan. 2, I got Ohio State. Number 1, I got Alabama. As I mentioned earlier, the whole point of the college football playoff is to have the 4 best teams in the country. Watching the UCLA game last night, the commentators were saying, other than Alabama, there's not a better team in the country right now than USC, and I don't blame them. Ever since they made the transition with Sam Darnold, no team has looked better. And like I said, Michigan struggled against Iowa. Ohio State, they barely beat a terrible Michigan State team yesterday. Barely. Clemson, I've been saying this for weeks. I have not been impressed with Clemson at all. I think they've been winning some close games. SC, my goodness, they've just been steamrolling over their competition. I think right now, and I think number 4 is being not as generous as I should be, but that's what I got to say. And also, the commentators were talking last night, they all have them in their top 6. So it's not like I'm just taking this out of my ass right now. Professional ESPN people, which obviously mean nothing nowadays with how ESPN is, but they have them in their top 6. So a lot of people do it as well, but that's my top 4. Guys, hit me with it.
So here comes our UW talk for the week. But if USC's as high as we all have them ranked, then UW essentially lost to a top 10 team as their only loss. Honestly, like I said, I have USC at 10. I think they're a really strong team. But I still think UW is a little stronger, and I still think they deserve to be in the top 5. Honestly, I think you see them beat up on Washington State this week, and then I think you see them have no problem in the Pac-12 championship if they play Utah or Colorado. They play USC again, it's going to be tough. But that's why I'm not penalizing Washington for one loss to that great USC team.
I'm not penalizing them from the loss. I'm just saying I think SC is a better team than Washington, and I don't know how you can say that Washington is a better team. Like Spencer and Brady, I know what Josh is thinking, but do you honestly think that USC is a better team right now than Washington?
Absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
I think they do. Because they have the full package. They're everything on offense, they're everything on defense. Their special teams is killer. All three phases of the ball, they're killing it.
Watching
week in and week out.
USC's blocked 2 kicks in 2
Watching
games.
Sam Darnold play quarterback last night, my goodness,
It's unreal.
I've never seen I'm sure I have. I'm just being generous, but the way he's not scared of getting hit.
He kind of reminds me of watching an Andrew Luck kind of quarterback.
I was just going to say that because I was talking to Brady about it last night. And on the field, not off the field, but on the field in college and maybe Luck in the pros, I see a cross between Johnny Manziel and Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, going back to our top 6 teams or so, Wisconsin and Michigan have no offense, almost at all. Like, I watch them week after week, and their offense looks almost non-existent. So why is everybody so high on them just because they have a good defense?
Really?
When UW's good from both sides of the ball.
You say Michigan has no offense when
they
they've scored the most points and they have in 111 years.
That's when they had their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Look at the
And they've been without a starting quarterback for 1 game.
Even with
look
Spade,
at what O'Korn did this week though.
Okay,
Indiana's a good team though.
Even with
So I'm not gonna
Spade,
knock
Even
him for
with
that.
he got less than 100 yards though.
when you see
So did
Michigan,
Jalen Hurts, and he's leading the number 1 team in the country. And that was against an FCS opponent defense at home.
okay, when you see Michigan go up against these tough Big Ten teams though, they don't put points on the board.
But they get wins, do they not?
Okay,
Did
but
they not get a win against?
I'm just saying you put them
I
against.
didn't know he did that.
I'm just saying they're not putting up points. They seem to beat up on Rutgers, but they don't put any points up against teams like Wisconsin. They put up 14. I mean, I just don't. I'm not super impressed with them.
To
I have
me,
them at 4 because they have 1 loss.
Yeah, but didn't Washington only put up like 21 against Arizona going into overtime?
Yeah, but
Arizona has
argument,
2 wins.
Wow, your argument just now was how can you be so high on Michigan and Wisconsin when all they have is a defense, and you backed that up with Michigan only scored this many points on Wisconsin, who has a good defense. That is an invalid
I'm just going to say this
argument.
really
They don't
quick.
have a good-
We're all sports fans. We all know the saying, defense wins championships. You can score as many points as you want, but it all comes down to defense. Whether you're scoring 100 points a game, whether you're scoring 5 points a game, what matters is the defense. But like I said, regardless of if Washington has a better offense, if this team has a better defense, I just based mine on who I think the 4 best teams in the country are.
To me,
and right now, those are my top 4.
I totally agree with you on who is playing as the best team in the country and who are the best teams in the country. And I think that your top 4 was spot on. The reason that I didn't have USC ranked that high or even really expanded more on my top 4 was because, like I said, last week's rankings. So I think putting USC at 10 is justified, but I understand where you're coming from, especially as an SC fan and a Pac-12 fan. I think the Pac-12 needs all the love that they can get because people just don't watch their games as much as they should. But if you're ranking the top 4 or top 6 best teams, I agree with you. I agree with what the commentators are saying. SC should be up there. But as of right now, with their current record and the way that they've turned their season around, I think 10 is exactly.
And really quickly though, none of this happens if Colorado wins this week. Because then Colorado, if SC doesn't make it to the Pac-12 title game, like I'm just saying, I think SC only makes it in the top 4 if they get to the Pac-12 title game and they beat UW.
They're gonna be 4th at the end of the year. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, it's going to make the next few shows very interesting seeing how it plays out. But let's get to a more lighter note.
God.
The Q&A. All right, let's start with the 152 questions. My goodness. Now, this one, it's the very top comment, and I love it. This is from Chris Lee, has 17 thumbs up. How will Chattanooga rebound after being upset by Alabama?
They're gonna
win.
put their mind to the test next year. LSU.
To be honest, that's a great question.
Keeping it on Alabama, Ice Fry wants to know, is the current Alabama team one of the top 10 teams that we've ever seen? Also, hashtag Zane for Heisman.
Overall or Alabama?
Alabama, like top 10 greatest teams of all time.
I'm gonna say that's too early to tell until they win a national championship, or until they make the play. Well, I mean, to make the playoffs, because obviously they're gonna make the playoffs. But to me, I don't think so. Not yet.
Not yet. Emmett Clear, I'm probably messing up that name as I always do, says 2 things. Houston is dangerous when healthy. Will they go to New Year's 6? And how about them Ducks? First of all, how about them Ducks? They did SC a huge favor by beating Utah. Great win. And it's good to see Oregon
How
back.
about that
hopefully.
win, though?
It was that catch at the end. Josh and I were literally like watching my phone for like 5 minutes with like 2 seconds left, waiting to hear what the final play was. Apparently they were just reviewing it. We didn't know what was going on, but it was good to see them win. As to Houston, I think it's too late for them to really make any statement to be in the New Year's Six.
For New Year's Six, no, but to make a quality bowl game?
I think they still
I
can.
don't see
Obviously,
why
we've seen
not.
they're a very
Yes.
dangerous team.
They're a very good team.
I have a question for you guys. Blake, you can read this name. I think it's Vinayak Swaroop. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad does Michigan need Wilton Speight for the upcoming Ohio State game?
Like 69. They need him badly, okay? If they don't have, I already think if they have him playing, they're not gonna win. But if they don't have him starting, oh god, it's gonna get ugly, and it's gonna get ugly fast.
Honestly,
okay.
I don't see that much of a difference between O'Korn and Wilton Speight. Michigan's offense, like I said earlier, is pretty non-existent to me. So I think their chances are maybe a little worse without him, but I don't see a big difference.
Tyler UN, this is a very good one. It's 4th and goal. You're down by 5. Who do you want as your QB? JT Barrett or Deshaun Watson?
Lamar Jackson.
That's not an option, Brady.
Ah, damn.
Wait,
4th and goal, down by 5.
Yeah.
It was
So
J-
Brady, you need a touchdown to win.
Deshaun.
Watson, better thrower.
Run the
Deshaun
ball.
Watson.
JT Barrett.
Fabulous Burger wants to know what was more surprising: Iowa State beating Texas Tech 66-10, or Kansas getting their first win over Texas in 78 years.
I'm going to say the Kansas one, purely because of what they did to the goalpost after the game. They brought down the goalpost and carried it out of the stadium.
I'm going to say both, honestly, because, I mean,
Spencer, you can't choose
pick
both. You have to
one.
pick one. That's the question.
Fine. Iowa State over T-Tech. They were able to hold Mahomes to a very small margin of numbers, and he was red hot coming into that game.
It's one thing to hold Mahomes to a very small amount of numbers, but when you're one of the worst teams in the country, let alone the Big Ten,
Cyclones.
my gosh, or Big 12, I should say.
Yep.
That I was shocked when I heard that final score.
Patrick Mahomes, 18 for 36, 219 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
The fact
Yeah.
that he only threw the ball 36 times is beyond me.
Like,
Yeah.
those aren't his numbers.
Listen to this.
Those aren't.
The quarterback for Iowa State, 14 for 18 for 285 yards.
Wow.
I mean, I'm going to say that the Iowa State game was more surprising, but man, Kansas hadn't
Shout
beat
out
Texans
Kansas.
in so long. It was probably since what?
Kansas
the last,
hasn't beaten
last-
anyone in
last
very
time,
long.
Last time they beat Texas, Perry Ellis was probably, what, 10 years old or something? That's a college basketball joke. Brady Vernon showed it to me.
Bring it back.
Richard Nixon wants to know, which I love this.
What a name.
Temple beat SMU, who beat Houston, who beat Louisville. Does that mean Temple is better than Louisville?
No.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
DG Productions wants to know, how good could the Gators be if they had a somewhat decent quarterback?
I would say a good team. I would say a pretty good team.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'd say really good, like playoff contention good. If they had like a Deshaun Watson as their quarterback with that defense, they'd be competing with Bama, honestly.
Who was their quarterback last year they got? Greer, wasn't it?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
Will Greer.
If they had,
He was a good
If they
quarterback.
still had
He played
Greer,
well.
if they still had Greer, they'd be competing
Yeah.
right now. Del Rio just didn't get it done, in my opinion, even though he's hurt now.
Matthew Jackson wants to know, does Jalen Hurts deserve to be in the Heisman conversation this year?
Absolutely.
Not after his showing against Chattanooga.
Woo!
Actually, yeah, probably.
With the loss to Houston, can Lamar Jackson still catch up to Zane, the God, Gonzalez?
It'll be a close one,
But yeah.
but yes.
Because Zane did hit a 50-yarder this weekend against Washington with
Dinger.
ease. I'm pretty sure it went over the stands into that little river or lake that's behind the stadium.
You
I'm
mean
sure.
Lake Washington?
Okay, Lake Washington. I don't know my history.
Geography, you idiot.
I know. That was... Anyway.
Okay.
God.
Can I propose a question for myself? So Josh Schaefer asks, actually, let me just give you some backstory. The FCS released its top 4 seeds for the annual FCS playoffs. And here are the top 4 seeds. North Dakota State, obviously.
Shocker.
Eastern Washington. Jacksonville State.
Powerhouse.
Jack Rabbits.
And James Madison. So my question, where the hell is Chattanooga?
This is a monstrosity.
Well, you know, I
I
think...
am not okay.
I said that word.
Too many people sleep on him. It's just not okay.
Well, this is the reason why. I think they said the top 8 teams, I think, have a first-round bye.
Yes, they do.
Like, they need viewership to watch this FCS tournament. So put Chattanooga at 9, have them play an extra game, put them on TV for people to watch, more ratings. That's the only reason why they're not.
Here's my thing.
top
Chattanooga is not even going to play in the FCS championship, and they'll still find a way to win.
Of course.
Just watch it happen.
Just watch.
Do you think Oklahoma is the best 2-loss team?
I could see that.
I feel like our answers change for this question every week, but I'm going to say yes.
At this
Game
point,
by game.
At this point, I'm gonna say I don't see why not, because they played incredibly well against West Virginia.
Does Colorado have a chance at a playoff?
No.
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 Should be ranked 10th.
Let's see.
What are Christian McCaffrey's chances at the Heisman after the monster performance versus Cal? 0.
The same amount of chances as I have of getting with that really cute blonde girl that we see like every day in the dining hall. None.
Good thing you said that and not any of us.
Cute though.
Was the Alabama-Chattanooga game rigged? There's no way they could only score 3 points in a real game.
Yes.
Definitely
Look
rigged.
at the punt.
I heard something about maybe they got some Pac-12 refs to ref that game or something.
Pac-12 after dark refs.
Thank God we can't get fined for criticizing the referees.
Marshmallow Ryan wants to know, would Chattanooga beat Arizona State?
Easily.
I 100% think they would.
Yes.
They would.
I think they would
If
100%.
ASU is at full strength, no, but jeez, man, I don't understand how. I mean, yeah, they're undermanned, but how are they this bad?
I've been saying it all year. When they were 5-1, I said they're their worst one-loss team. This is a fun question, guys. What's your favorite bowl game?
The national championship.
Oh, come on,
no,
Lyle.
I say
no.
we pick outside of the New Year's Six.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the Outback Bowl, because I was at it 2 years ago, and I saw Odell make the one-handed catch against Iowa in Raymond J. Stadium.
Huh.
So I'm gonna say that one.
Nice. I like the Pinstripe Bowl because they play it at Yankee Stadium. Obviously, the Pinstripes. Really cool bowl game. It's some of the lower teams. IU and Duke played in it last year. Really cool thing about that game, IU had a running back who scored his very first touchdown of the year in that game. His name was Alex Rodriguez. I kid you not.
Did he test positive for steroids?
No, he did not.
All right, just wanted to double check.
Honestly, I think my favorite's probably the Hawaii Bowl because
Oh.
the teams they send there are always just so terrible. But it's
Same with the
basically-
Bahamas Bowl,
but
too.
It's basically their reward for like, hey, you won 6 games, you get to go to Hawaii.
Oh God, Arizona State.
Same with the Bahamas Bowl.
Same thing, yeah.
I'm gonna say the Holiday Bowl. I've been twice now. The stadium itself needs a reservation. It needs a renovation. Qualcomm, where the Chargers play. But San Diego's a great city. They have a whole bunch of festivities. They have a parade. The 2 schools that are from the Big Ten and the Pac-12. It's like I don't want to say the JV Rose Bowl, but honestly, it is one step down from the Rose Bowl. 2 years in a row, I loved it.
How fun would that be, though, to go to Hawaii or Bahamas for one of those bowl games? Possibly taking the show to Hawaii or the Bahamas, do a podcast? Well,
Let's get
I'm
involved with
kind of
these
sad
games.
that Brady brought it up, but I was gonna say mine was the Bahamas Bowl, just because I mean, come on, a bowl game in the Bahamas, like.
The ending of the one was it 2 years ago?
Oh yeah, between Central Michigan
Yeah.
and the other team where it was like that crazy just lateral.
Wasn't that when the guy hurtled too?
No.
Yes.
Is that when
Was
No,
it?
that was the game where he hurdled in the last play.
Oh.
Hurdled, ran towards the pylon, dove out of bounds, hurdled the guy. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
I remember that.
Where do you believe Oregon went wrong, and how long till they're back on track? Should they fire Mark Helfrich? I feel like this win against Utah, first off, kind of saved his job. Not that it was on the line, but I feel like getting this win just solidified them that they still can be a threat. How long till they're back on track? I honestly think probably next year, the year after. I don't
I'd
think
say
anyone
next
expected
year.
him to be this
Considering
terrible.
their quarterback is a freshman, a true
Oh,
freshman,
yeah.
he's a stud.
Yeah, Justin Herbert's looked pretty
Yeah.
promising.
So I think they went wrong when they started bringing in all the alternate uniforms.
God.
No, I'm kidding. But honestly, I'm not really sure where they went wrong. I just simply think that they aren't that great of a team this year. Of course, their offense can still pose a threat. When will they get back on track? I don't see Oregon being a powerhouse again for years. I think they'll get back on track. I think they'll be a mediocre to good team. I don't see them as a top 10 team for at least 4 years.
Blake, someone asked you this question. Are you going to make a game to remember for Chattanooga, Bama?
Well, like I said, I was going to, but for some reason, because of that overlaps of the damn Texas-Kansas game, there's no footage of their field goal. There's no footage of, like, that huge hit they had on Jalen Hurts. There's, like, nothing. So, unfortunately, I just can't do it.
That Jalen hurts my feelings.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Should I leave? That's enough to
Yes.
get me kicked off the show.
Now, this one, I don't want us to discuss, because I know this one could be a really strong topic, but Bay Finch wants to know, should Todd Graham get fired?
No, not a chance.
Yeah.
I'm honestly going to say yes.
5 in a row. That's all I'm going to say.
5
Brady?
in a row and having one of the worst secondary defenses in the country. They have played bad.
I'm going to say no because, yes, you have the worst secondary in the country, but there really isn't a whole lot you can do about that right now. He has a very good recruiting class coming in this year, one of the best quarterbacks coming in next year. He'll probably get redshirted. He'll
so
move
we
some
have
things
4
around.
quarterbacks.
He'll move some things around, move some people around. But I think if he doesn't do well, if it's a similar season next year as he did this year, he will be gone. But this year, he's fine.
Yeah, I think he's fine, but I think if they struggle next year, he should be on the watch. Spilled Coffee said, at least Chattanooga held Bama to 70 yards in the first quarter, but if Florida were to win out and somehow beat Bama in the SEC title game, is there a chance they can make it to the playoffs?
No.
No.
Oh, God.
Is that what is
Too
that?
big
Is
of a
that
hill to
yes or
climb.
no?
If they beat Bama.
Because that's the thing that no one's ever talked about. If Alabama somehow loses to Auburn this weekend, or they lose in the SEC title game,
It's a possibility.
what's happening to Bama? Well, college football committee bias, Alabama will probably move up somehow, even though they're at number 1. So we're just going to have to wait and see. If Virginia Tech wins their final game and goes to the ACC Championship, do they have a chance against Clemson? Love the show, by the way. This is from King Lawler.
Well, considering they almost couldn't beat Notre Dame, I'm going to go with no.
I'm gonna say yeah, without a doubt. I think Virginia Tech has a chance.
I agree. Ditto.
I'm going to say yeah. And possibility they beat Clemson. Honestly, at this point, anyone can beat Clemson. So it's not saying much.
Okay.
I did get a DM from someone. I was actually texting him or messaging him during the Chattanooga game. So shout out to him whose name I don't remember offhand, but you know who you are. So shout out to him. He also said, can't wait to hear you guys talk about K-State on the show. We don't really have a reason to talk about him, but I'm saying K-State right now, so you're welcome.
Do you see K-State getting better or worse over the next couple of
that
years? Antonio Lewis?
That is him. I see them getting better, Antonio. Hell yeah, bro.
Oh,
Good Lord.
Yes.
yeah.
You just got so
If Western
excited.
Michigan played Chattanooga, who would win? Is that even a question?
Western Michigan.
Western Michigan.
If Chattanooga were to rematch Bama at home,
All 12,000 of their fans.
I think it would be a close game.
Fair enough.
high school size stadium.
All right.
Seriously.
Well, once again, we're in another new area this week. It seems like every week we're moving to a different spot, but we always move. But yet those bells just keep staying with us. They're ringing. No, Josh, for the 9th time, no, it's not you that's ringing the bells, but it is the bells for the Pick'ems.
Ring the victory bell.
That time.
SC1.
Oh goodness gracious! Oh yeah, it's the victory bell that's ringing right now currently. But as we always do every week, I should say me, because oh my God, if I slipped, we awfully predict the games for the upcoming week by guessing who's gonna win. And we have another special guest in studio this week. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome Greg.
Thanks guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Yay, Greg! All right, Greg. Well,
Yay, Greg.
so now Chase and Garrett both got 12 right. Emily got out of 14. Emily got 8 right. So the question is, can you get more than 12 right?
I think so.
All right. Now, as we do with all the pick'ems, though, first of all, we have to go over the leaderboard.
I don't even remember who I picked and/or who won.
Ah, crap.
Leading the way is Lyle with 64 points.
Hey, Lyle's finally winning. Well,
Make-
you were winning last
winning.
week. Never mind.
He's been winning.
Making a
Winning.
comeback in second place is Spencer with 50
God bless.
with 58 points. You're only 6 points behind.
Oh, I just got so
in
scared.
third place is Josh with 54 points.
I'm coming for you, Spencer.
And tied for last with 53.
I'm not by myself.
Tied for last is me and Brady with 53 points. I have just completely just
You go from
fallen.
first 2 weeks ago.
My plan just failed. Okay,
Oh, God.
I just went completely.
You disappeared just like ASU's offensive line.
Oh my goodness.
There's
Well,
2 ASU online jokes in the show, Josh.
ready, set, begin. LSU at Texas A&M.
I think you got to go with the Tigers in this one. I think they're going to rebound. Hopefully they can get the offense started. Hopefully Leonard Fournette plays a good game.
Yeah, I like LSU too. I think A&M's slipping, and despite the loss to Florida this week, LSU bounces back and gets the win over the Aggies.
I'm gonna say even if Texas A&M has been falling at Kyle Field, Texas A&M has played really well at home, and that's gonna give them the boost this week.
Texas A&M, yes, they're a great home team, but LSU is a solid road team. Leonard Fournette is going to have a solid game this week. He only played half last week, so LSU in this game.
I'm gonna take LSU. The way Texas A&M has been playing the past couple weeks, I don't see him being LSU.
No Trevor Knight. I don't think Texas A&M can get this done. I'm going to go with LSU.
Well,
Do you guys all forget about the Trevor Knight was injured?
maybe, but I'm still sticking to my pick because I'm loyal.
No, you're not.
TCU at Texas.
Ugh.
Oh boy, this is the toilet bowl of Texas. I totally forgot this game was in the pick. I'm gonna go with Texas because #Charlie Strong. Stay strong. I like that. Get that trending.
As pathetic as Texas was last week, this is a rivalry game, and one bright spot for the team this year has been Deontay Foreman, so I'm going to take the Longhorns in this game.
I'm going to go TCU just to go against Charlie Strong. So,
Never go against Charlie Strong.
Stay strong.
TCU.
Texas did.
Hook 'em horns. Go Texas.
I'm gonna go with Texas also. I think they bounce back from Kansas. I don't see them losing two. Well, I could see them losing 2 in a row, but I think they want some redemption after losing to Kansas.
This is Charlie Strong's last game as head coach. I feel like that Texas team is going to be rallied. I think they're going to want to pull a win for them. So I think Texas gets this win convincingly. Nebraska at Iowa. 2 states no one wants to live in. Go.
Go Big Red, no question. Huskers take this one on the road.
Definitely Nebraska.
I know a couple of friends at Iowa, and sorry, Nebraska.
I think this is going to be a unanimous sweep. I'm going to go Nebraska in this one unless Blake is an idiot and picks Iowa.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I see Nebraska winning.
Iowa.
Really?
Go figure.
Washington at Washington State.
Apple Cup.
This is a great game. I was gonna pick Washington State. I really was, but after the way that they played last week and the way that they totally choked away the lead in the second half, I gotta go with UW. They're the better team on the road. It's gonna be a great game. Don't sleep on the Cougs, but let's be real. The Cougs are gonna Coug it up, and the Huskies are gonna take the Apple Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think it's going to be a close game, but I like the Huskies.
Jake Browning, this one's for you. He's going to snap against the Cougars and watch Washington fly away with this win.
UW, I think they've solidified themselves as a solid team, even though with the loss, I still am in the boat where they're not a top-tier team, but they're a good team. UW's winning this game.
I'm gonna agree with Lyle. I think it's gonna be close all the way to the fourth quarter, but I'm taking UW.
Up until last week, I had Washington State winning this game, but the way they performed against Colorado, yikes! I'm gonna go with UW.
Hell yeah!
That's a great high five. Boise State at Air Force.
I think it's going to be a good game. I'm so close to taking Air Force in the upset, but I'm going to have to go with the Broncos.
I don't have family in the Air Force, so Boise State.
Chase. I'm going to have to say Boise State. Their reason why they're ranked, reason why they're 10-1, and they're going to take this dub easy.
I'm going against you guys, the Thunder and Lightning of Air Force, so I'm going to go with the Air Force.
I'm going to agree with Brady. I haven't picked an upset yet, so I'm going to go Air Force.
Man, I like where this is going. I was going to pick Air Force the entire time, but now I don't feel so stupid, so I'm going to go with Air Force on this one.
You don't feel stupid? Come on.
This one is probably, I think, in my opinion, the most underrated game of the entire weekend.
I was about to say.
Toledo at Western Michigan.
Oh, this is going to be a great game. Toledo's going to bring some firepower. I think Toledo has a great chance of pulling off the upset, but I think I'm going to have to go with the Broncos in this one. They're playing great football.
This game is like Toledo was a couple spots away from being ranked this week. This could have been almost
Not in my rankings. In the Harris Highlights rankings, they're named 25th.
This was very close to being a ranked game, which no one would have picked at the start of the year. But I'm really excited to see this game, but I got to stick with Western Michigan and the way they've been playing.
Toledo has been playing well, and they're a good team, but especially with Western Michigan rowing the boat, finally at home, that's going to be the decision maker for me.
Row the boat, Western Michigan, staying undefeated on the season.
I'm going to go with Western Michigan also.
I love Western Michigan. I'm going to go with them as well to get the win. Georgia Tech at Georgia.
This would be a great game, but the fact that this game is in Athens, I'm going to have to go with the Bulldogs.
I'm with you on that one. I don't have a ton of faith in Georgia Tech, and despite a iffy year from Georgia, I think they still have some firepower to that team, which is why I'm going with the Bulldogs.
I was about to say Georgia Tech, but since it's at home in Athens, Georgia Tech can hang with the best of them, but I'm going to say the Bulldogs for now.
My man Nick Chubb's going to run all over that Georgia Tech defense. I'm going Georgia in this game.
This is from my buddy up in Georgia, Blake. Go Bulldogs.
Hey. See, my opinion, home field advantage means nothing in a rivalry game. It absolutely. I mean, okay, it means something, but it's not as much as
more in a rivalry
as much
game.
as you guys think. I'm going to go with Georgia Tech in this one. I really like their offense, and Georgia has been a fairly disappointing team this season.
Finally, I'm not going to be in last place
Got
after
that
this
in
week.
with like 2 seconds left.
The Iron Bowl, Auburn at Bama.
What a game. But Alabama, they upset Chattanooga. I think they're going to ride the momentum from that game into the Iron Bowl. It is in Tuscaloosa, I believe, senior day. I got to go with the Tide.
I think this is going to be a really good game. Not quite Chris Davis type of game, but
Nothing will ever be Chris Davis type of game.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. But I think I like Alabama pulling away a little bit in the fourth quarter for a win.
I think this is going to be the best game of the night, and by far, because it's going to be a defensive battle, yet again, coming from an Alabama team. But still, I'm going to take Roll Tide in this one.
Auburn won 55-0 against Alabama A&M. Alabama barely beat Chattanooga. I'm going to have to go with Alabama on this one.
I'm going to go against you guys so far. I want to see an upset, and I'm going to go Auburn.
Weeks ago, I had Auburn winning
Time's
this
up. Your pick
game.
doesn't count.
Oh, you're funny, Josh, when you took 25 of those 60 seconds, so I'm not even going to consider
I was
you.
done after 10 seconds.
I had Auburn winning this game a few weeks ago because I thought this was going to be a game for playoff implications, but because Auburn did lose that game to Georgia 2 weeks ago, they completely hurt their chances. It made me question my decision. But after seeing the way Alabama played against Chattanooga, I think Auburn is going to want this game a little more than Alabama. I'm going to take the Tigers on this one.
I'm going to say a quick stat really quick.
I like stats.
Auburn has a 7-3 record in Tuscaloosa.
Ooh.
So, even with it being in Tuscaloosa, Alabama home crowd, like you said, rivalry game, something new.
There you go. Notre Dame at USC.
So I think, just like I said last week, USC and UCLA was a good game, except for the fact that USC essentially dominated the whole time. So it wasn't that great of a game. But rivalry games are rivalry games. So I think it's going to be close. I think the Irish are going to pose a threat, but ultimately USC is going to pull out big time second half. So I'm going to go with the Trojans. I'll be there. Fight on.
Well, I thought these games were supposed to be, ones that we picked that are going to be interesting. This isn't even going to be a game. Notre Dame is going to lose so badly in this game to USC. USC is going to hurt them like the Eagles hurt CJ Procise today.
All right, so I'm going to keep it simple and say USC.
Did he really just say it?
No.
Fight on. USC is going to win this one. I mean, even though Notre Dame and Indy, I'm going USC.
Yeah, I don't think Notre Dame really has a chance. Go SC. Fight on.
USC. My God. Not even close.
Don't sleep on the fact that it's a rivalry game, but I think it'll be close for the first
They
half.
have
Just like
no
I thought USC
chance.
I don't think
It's like,
it's close
like
at
how you
all,
thought
though.
UCLA. You were scared for UCLA. I said no reason to
I
be
said
scared.
as an SC fan, I think you'd be more nervous about a rivalry
Josh,
game. than
USC
going
is
on
ranked 4th in the Harris Highlights
I
top
think-
25, and you're scared against an unranked Notre
Josh,
Dame team?
I don't think it's close
I
when
am
they come
one
off
of-
the bus.
I'm one of the.
I think it'll be
Seriously,
close.
No.
Lyle-
I'm a
When there's 15
die-hard
minutes left in the first quarter.
If I can
Stop.
give my score prediction, I will say 48-17 USC.
God.
I just think the first half is going to be closer than people think.
So if I'm allowed to ask, Lyle, you're the Notre Dame fan. What's the worst thing about Notre Dame football right now? Is it their secondary, quarterback thing, offense, defense?
begin?
What's their number one problem?
Well, Deshaun Kaiser's just totally tanked his way out of the first round of the NFL draft after the way he's played.
remember
this
when he
season.
was up there?
Oh, he was at number 1 for a while until he kept playing the way he was playing.
Until he
Then-
played football.
Not gonna lie, Josh Adams and Equinemius St. Brown, like I said last week, are the two bright spots of this team. But their defense is a joke. Their secondary, you guys won't agree with me, but it's worse than ASU's in my opinion.
Yikes.
And it's,
That is saying a lot.
It is embarrassing to watch. It's that simple. They lost to Duke this year. They lost to Texas, who lost to Kansas. Like, it's a joke.
Game that every USC fan is going to be watching closely this weekend, Utah at Colorado.
I got dibs. Colorado.
The only reason you picked Colorado is because USC needs them to lose. And you know
God
that.
damn right I picked them. Go Colorado. Woo!
Utah, I'm going to have some words if you don't win this game. Just kidding, but please win. I'm going to go with the Utes in Boulder, but if Colorado wins this game, I respect that. No.
Let him go.
No, I'm going to stop the timer for this one. You make your picks. I'm going to go with Utah, but we do need to touch on this afterwards.
Josh, we talked about this earlier, and give him the time to talk. This is good.
This is good. So I'm going to go with Utah, but Lyle, make your pick.
I think Cephalufau goes off in this game and knocks SC out of the chances of going to the Pac-12 championship. So go Buffs.
I'm going to say Utah in this game. Yes, Colorado's a very tough place to play, but I think Utah's been a better overall team. Yes, Colorado's a higher ranked team, but I say Utah in this one.
I'm going to take Utah also. I like Utah's offense, and I think they can get it done in Boulder.
Well, I'm taking Utah without a doubt. Can't root it for Colorado on this one.
So this is when I'm going to step back in. We have Greg, who's from LA as well. Greg's an SC fan. Blake's an SC fan. I'm an SC fan. And quick shout out to Edward over here. He too's from LA, and he's just hanging with us today.
He's an SC fan too.
Hey,
Hi, Eddie.
Hi.
So, as an SC fan, as a Pac-12 fan, and simply as a college football fan and a journalist, I think USC is the most deserving team to win the Pac-12 South.
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. I think they're one of the top teams in the country right now. I'm never wrong. No. So, with that being said, I think USC is a pass interference penalty away from clinching the Pac-12 championship against Utah.
You're so right.
It's unfortunate, but I'm right, and we saw that Utah game concluding exactly how it did. And credit to Utah, but also discredit to USC because they cost themselves that game. Additionally, Colorado was predicted to finish last in the South. Everyone wrote them off, including me. And they kind of shocked everyone this year. So definitely a huge shout out to Colorado. USC is the most deserving team, but if Colorado beats the Utah Utes, they have earned it. And they'll have my respect. I'm going to be bummed as an SC fan, but as all those other things that I said I was, I'm going to have the utmost respect for Colorado because they have earned it. That's all I have to say.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. Not as beautiful as your Braveheart
It's
Chattanooga
true.
speech.
That was great. Florida at Florida
Wait, real quick,
State.
the fact you put the Rocky music in the background of it last week was even better.
Thank you. I thought that was a nice touch. Florida at Florida State.
I think this might be the best game of the week other than the Iron Bowl. I think I'm going to have to go with Florida State at home. I think home field advantage is going to play a factor in this one. And I think that Florida has been, I don't want to say inconsistent, but a little bit up and down. So I'm going to go with Florida State.
I don't think it's the best game of the week. I think the best game of the week is one we haven't talked about yet, and
Same.
I'll let Blake get to that in a minute. But for this game, I like Florida State. I think Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Francois show up and give this D a really tough time for Florida. So go Noles for this game.
Honestly, at the beginning, I was going to say Florida State because of home field advantage and everything like that. But since Florida is riding the capture of the SEC East and the capture of stopping LSU and everything going for that, I'm going to take Florida in this one.
We talked about this earlier in the show and the lack of the quarterback play for Florida. That's going to come in big for them because Florida State is a very solid secondary team. They have a great pass defense. I'm going to say Florida State wins this one on the defensive side of the ball, not on offense.
I'm going to go against you, Brady. I do think Florida State wins, but I think their offense plays a big role. I think Dalvin Cook has a big game.
Yeah.
I like Florida State in this one. Now, really quick, guys, this wasn't on the pick'ems, but Brady did want this one to be in it. Another good rivalry game, Indiana and Purdue. Who wins this game?
IU.
Hell yeah. Spencer?
Hopefully Indiana, so I can get another pick right.
Hell yes. I'm going IU. I'm going to be at that game, and you damn better know I'm going to be repping my crimson, maroon, whatever you want to call it. Cream and crimson. Go IU.
Just because I like Brady, I'm going to go IU.
Woo! Josh is gone, but he's going to pick IU too. Let's give him a second.
We all picked Purdue.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, then, I know you're lying, but even more reason to pick Indiana in a blowout.
They stuck with Michigan, by the way, and Ohio State, and Penn State. Just
Alrighty.
saying.
Michigan at Ohio State.
You can't use the timer for this
Yeah.
game, dude.
Sorry, that was the first time I've done the timer in like 5 minutes, to be totally honest, and he just cancels it like that. I was wrong. This is the best game of the week. Michigan is undermanned, and this game's at the Horseshoe in Columbus. I would love to see a Michigan win because correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been like at least 5 years. At
6.
least it's been
been a
6.
while.
It's been a while since Michigan beat them. I hope they win the game. I'm rooting for the Maize and Blue, but I think Ohio State takes this one at home.
In Columbus, no Wilton Spate. The way JT Barrett and the Buckeyes have been playing the last few games, I got to take Ohio State in this one.
With Michigan not having a quarterback, with Michigan probably maybe not having Wilton Spate, with Michigan being at Ohio State, not even a question. As much as it is a rivalry game, as much as it is amped up, Ohio State is winning this game, no doubt.
I say of all the games that we talked about on this list, this one will have the biggest margin of victory. And I say Ohio State is going to run the table against Michigan.
I'm gonna go. I agree with what Lau was saying in the beginning of the show. I don't like Michigan's offense at all. I haven't liked it all season. They do have a great defense, but I think Ohio State blows this up big.
This is an amazing game to watch. We're all going to be watching it. We're all going to be watching for playoff implications, for just fun times, whatever. But I'm going to put a little extra on the line for this game.
Oh, crap.
If we're all picking the same team to win, why bother watching it? What's the point? Either we're all right or we're all wrong. So for that very reason, go Big Blue, go into Columbus, get the win, go to the Big Ten Championship, a.k.a. that's to you, Josh, and just show everyone what's up. So I think that Michigan is going to win this game. But we're just going to have to wait and see. But
How
Michigan,
confident are you
Michigan,
when you say that?
Not very.
I'm like...
Are you saying that because I'm going to pick against these boys, or are you saying I believe in the boys in blue?
Mainly because I'm not confident they'll win. I think they'll win. But we'll just have to wait and see. But doesn't this make it a little more exciting than watching this game, knowing that I have Michigan?
I know it's going to be exciting because it's a rivalry game. I think it's just the fact that Michigan has zero quarterback and zero amounts of offense, but their defense is astounding. Do not get me wrong when I say that. Their defense, top notch. But other than that, Ohio State, they're just the better caliber team. That's why I picked them. That's why you picked Michigan, so on and so forth.
You heard it here first. Jabril Peppers comes in the third quarter, throws for a 30-yard touchdown pass. Just like Russell Wilson, or caught a pass, or whatever.
Doug Baldwin threw
Same
it.
stuff, whatever. I think Michigan gets the win. And now we go to the absolutely worst game. But the worst of the worst is between the 3-8 San Jose State Spartans and the 1-10 Fresno State Bulldogs. Oh my goodness gracious! Now, I don't know who's going to be at this game. Obviously, there will be some people there, but I'm not sure. All right, now this is going to be a doozy of a game that I don't know how anyone would want to go to it, but people are going to want to go to it. Brady, what is the cheapest ticket on StubHub for this game?
There are 211 tickets left in this game. It's at Bulldog Stadium. It's in California. Beautiful weather down there in San Jose.
It's going to be low 70s.
But they're $17 tickets.
$17 tickets, my goodness. Well,
it costs more to get into a high school football game.
well, I guess
Come
if
on.
you're a dude, you need to be away from your overly attached girlfriend for a few hours. What better way than to spend it watching the Fresno State and San Jose State
What did you
football
just
teams
say?
play? Guys, who wins this game?
Who cares?
I'm going to take San Jose just because of record, and I know someone who goes to San Jose, so that's my answer.
Well, one of my amazing cousins recently graduated from Fresno State, went to the USC Fresno game with her last year or the year before, and for that reason, I'm going San Jose State.
That's not...
Very anti there, Josh.
Love you.
All right, so I'm from Indiana. They got the Pacers. Paul George went to Fresno State, but he didn't play this past week, so I'm going to go San Jose State. Because I'm going to pick whichever mascot would win in a fight, and Spartans have a swords, dogs are dogs. Go Spartans.
I'm going to go Fresno State. Why? I was watching the USC Fresno State game 2005. I don't remember that game.
Ooh,
Great game the other day. And
gosh.
just for the fight they put up in that, I'm going to go Fresno.
I like it.
correlation between...
Fresno State has one win. My God. They double that this weekend. They get the dub over San Jose State. Lyle, who gets this win?
Worst of the worst story time. About 2 years ago, I'm at a college convention, and every booth has about the same things, a bunch of flyers, people talking.
Oh, that
I walk across a San Jose State booth. They've got an iPad up of a bunch of football highlights. And me being a sports fan,
Was it one
I
of
think,
Blake's highlights videos?
no, it was not. But me being a sports fan, I think to myself, hey, that's innovative, but not quite ASU innovative. So, I like San Jose State in this game. Go Spartans.
Now, guys, this could be, like I said, the worst of the worst, part 2. But it is Rivalry Week. We are going to be going to we're not going to be going to Tucson, but eventually we'll be in
We should
Tucson.
send one of our reporters down there to cover the game.
We'll
for
send
us.
one of our Harris Highlight reporters down there to cover the game, but we'll be in Tucson.
Go ahead,
ASU versus University of Arizona. Guys, who wins this game?
Oh, well, it's hate week, and it doesn't feel like hate week because we're bonding over disappointment with the Wildcat fans.
We really have been, actually.
We really have been.
Even players.
Arizona State, everything went downhill for them after they lost their first game at the Coliseum with players getting hurt, and they've been inconsistent since then. They're starting to get healthier, but they're still so undermanned. But, guys, they're playing Arizona. They're playing Arizona.
Okay.
If ASU doesn't win this game, that's going to be pretty embarrassing. I'm going to say the Sun Devils are going to maintain possession of the Territorial Cup, and I think they blow out the U of A. I think it's ugly.
You said it pretty well, Josh. It's starting to hurt my eyes to watch these ASU games. I'm not going to lie. They need to snap this 5-game win streak. And if they don't... win streak. ASU couldn't go on a 5-game win streak. Jeez. They need to snap this 5-game losing streak. And if they can't do it against U of A and their 200-person student section, then how can you ever do it? So I'm going to pick the Sun Devils in this game. I'm going to keep a little bit of faith, saying that Manny Wilkins can get back to where he was, at least a little bit get back to where he was at the start of the season from a playing standpoint, and take the Sun Devils.
Since our wonderful Sun Devils have a 5-game losing streak, and we're going into Arizona, I think we're going to lose. I really do. I think it's come to the point where we just throw away the papers, throw away the playbook, hope for the best, and I don't think our prayers will be answered because the Wildcats will beat us. They will take away our Territorial Cup. Is it their Territorial Cup?
Yeah.
Okay, I quieted.
If you think you're going to get good music under this, you're not. You're
No.
gonna get carnival music
No.
under
You
this.
didn't know what the trophy was called?
I
We were at Sun Devil Stadium
No,
today,
that-
and I showed it
I
to
didn't
you.
want. I didn't want to
I
screw
showed
it.
it to you. It
Either
was
way,
there.
Either way, I don't think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna lose badly.
Badly. Wow.
Badly.
I think I'm catching up on Spencer.
I think I'm pulling away from Josh.
There's been 3 positive things about this ASU team all season long.
Zane Gonzalez.
Shut up, Blake.
Our 4-game win streak.
Zane Gonzalez,
That's number 1.
Nikhil, and the uniforms.
And Matt Hawk.
All right.
He has not been great.
3.5.
Season.
3.5. The first half of the season.
Yeah.
Those 3.5 things will lead the Sun Devils to victory in this game and win the Spencer. It's a Territorial Cup, right?
Apple Bowl.
Apple Bowl. It's the Apple Cup.
As if
It's
they
the
can grow
Apple.
apples in Arizona.
The lemons.
All right.
Lemons.
Territorials.
It's going to be ASU in this game. I think U of A has just been god-awful. I got to give props to my man John Kenny, starting linebacker for U of A. He's a solid player. Went to my high school, so that's the only reason I'm giving him props for anything. But ASU is going to win this game pretty easily.
Now, I'm praying to God ASU wins because I made a bet with my girlfriend that goes to U of A. And I don't want to lose that bet. So I'm saying ASU wins. I think it's really close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I say Zane for a field goal and we win.
All right. If that doesn't happen in the last game of the season, Zane Gonzalez gets a game-winning field goal. Did he really play for us?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He broke a couple records.
Oh, you're right.
He
You're
is
right.
technically the greatest college kicker of all time, so I'm going to go with he did play for us.
Speaking of greatest college kickers of all time, the NFL needs to get him in the league now.
Yeah, they
It's
do.
gonna happen.
I mean, I've been saying this for the last few weeks. I think Arizona's going to win this game. ASU has just been nothing but disappointment. I mean, the games that they have won have been close. You can make cases for some of them games they shouldn't have won. Arizona, they've had a very, very, very tough season. I think they're going to be fired up. Talking with Paul McGlure, he is very frustrated with how the season's gone, and he wants to beat ASU badly. Like, he really wants to beat us badly. It will be his final career game. And all for these other seniors or whoever's going to be leaving, they don't want the season to end with another loss, with how disappointing it's been. They want to win. I honestly think that they're going to be more hungry than ASU is. I have not seen anything from ASU in the last 5 weeks that has shown me that they want to win a game. Have you guys?
No.
Yeah.
When?
Other than N'Keal Harry, not really.
N'Keal Harry, Zane Gonzalez, Matt Hawkins doing well.
Yeah, well, unfortunately,
N'Keal
3 players.
Harry,
Unfortunately, that's...
Salamo Fiso. I think it's ugly.
Kareem Orr had his first interception of the season this year.
This
past game.
do not like where this team is going.
Do we still have an offensive line?
No.
We're
Is that a
still
thing?
searching for our offensive line. We
The
can't.
question is, where is our secondary?
Bro, I'm trying to find. We can't find
They're
our
lost in
O-line.
the Field of Dreams corn along with Notre Dame.
We can't find them. I mean, of course, I want ASU to win, but being realistic here, I cannot see them doing this. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be close. It's going to be high score and low score, and I honestly don't know, but I do think Arizona will score more points than Arizona State.
So you're saying they're going to win?
Yes.
Maybe.
It's a possibility.
As we do every week, Spencer gives us a team he's going to root for because he is the most bandwagon fan in all of sports. So, Spencer, which fan
It's sad
sent you a
because
team to root for
I
this
can't even
week?
argue at this point because I've gotten so many teams.
That's true.
This has become your thing now.
It
You've
is.
embraced it.
It's my own little segment, and I like it.
Now, if you have a team you'd like to spur, they could do this fucking suck my If there's a team you'd like,
in Russian? What the fuck was that?
if there's a team you'd like Spencer to be a fan of, hit him up on Twitter, hit him up on Instagram, slide into those DMs at SPX09, and he will give you a shout out and your team a shout out. Spencer, which team are you going to be a fan of this week?
Okay, so the first one is going to be the Campbell. Wait.
The Campbell. Wait. All right. Who's the next team?
No, this is a
First,
good name.
yeah, I was about to say it. The Campbell Camels.
The Campbell
See?
Camels.
Yes, not that easy to pronounce, but
Campbell
still
Camels.
a team. The other one, I accidentally deleted the conversation, so I'm sorry whoever sent me this. But I had to say it because a friend of mine runs track at this school, and it's the University of Wisconsin Platteville.
Oh.
So, hey Lars, how's it going, bud? And the other school I have a couple of friends going to is Oshkosh in Wisconsin as well.
Oshkosh?
Oshkosh Titans. So I'm a fan of them. I've actually been a fan of them because the Bones, but that's a high school reference. But, you know, either than that, those are my couple teams. I didn't have a lot, so...
Hey, 3 is more than a lot. I think
Yes.
that's the most you've ever
Here's
had. Well, that wraps up episode 9 of the show. Lots of great games this week. Lots of rivalries. Lots of hatred that's going to go down. Lots of friendships that are going to be ruined. Really quickly, though, once again, huge thank you to Greg for joining us in studio. Hopefully your picks are better than Chase and Garrett, so you can take commanding lead because we're tired. We're tired of hearing them complain how they're so great at making picks when they're not. So hopefully you get 13 this week. Hopefully the picks go well. As always, we're always on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, MySpace, Tinder, Bumble, you name it. Hit us up. We like talking college football, and Josh has a Snapchat from his girlfriend.
No,
not that? Okay,
I
the other
wanted
thing?
I just wanted to say one more thing. So everyone remembered our bet last week between me and Spence. So if you want to check out a wonderful, wonderful picture of Spencer paying up on his bet, you can check me out on Instagram at JoshSchaefer5. It's the same as my Twitter except without a 2.
Here's what I'm saying. Follow me at SPX09.
That's it.
Or if you're just like any other dude out there and does not feel like following more dudes, you can listen to the show on SoundCloud as always. It's a great listen to while you're working out, driving to work, driving to school, getting it on with your girl, whatever it is. As long as you're listening to the show, that's all that matters. Huge thank you. But yeah, great week. We'll see you next week. Have a great Thanksgiving. Eat a lot of food. And we'll be back next week. Yay Sports!
Go Devils, beat the Wildcats, beat the Irish. Let's go.
Why not?
Don't fight them.
Hey, don't sleep on Chattanooga against LSU.
Oh yeah.